Hey, good morning. Okay, wanted to go over something because someone asked a question that I think kind of reveals that there might be some confusion among some about the differences and the purposes of Social Security disability insurance and SSI, supplemental security income. Okay, so the question was asked, why does the government kind of screw you by not giving you both your SSD, Social Security Disability, and your SSI, Supplemental Security Income, um, concurrently, like they're supposed to, the person says, instead of, cutting you off and only giving you a tiny bit of all your money. And I'm looking at the question here. Why do they give you your SSDI and then barely give you your SSI? Okay, so you have to go and watch the video explaining the difference between SSD and SSI. But here is my explanation because there's definitely confusion here. There is no my SSI. There is no your SSI. SSI is not somebody's earned and purchased asset or income stream or something that they paid for and they own it. SSI is welfare, 100% welfare. SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance, is insurance that they bought. It is not welfare. It is not needs-based. It is about being disabled as defined by the SSA. Now, SSI can be for the disabled person who is poor and needs a little extra money as per defined by the SSA. And we can all argue that that might be too low for sure. But the point is the reason for it is because someone is poor and needs it to provide some basic sustenance, survival, not pleasure, survival. It's to cover basic survival. So SSI, it's not, the person never has to have paid a dime towards the taxes that the others in the country have paid to fill the fund to pay the SSI to those who need it. And again, that would be disabled people who are poor and also those over 65 and poor, or 65 and older, I should say. So, you could be aged, that instead of being disabled, you can be aged 65 or older. And if you're poor enough, you will in fact be able to get SSI unless you're otherwise ineligible, such as a fleeing felon or a fugitive or incarcerated where you don't need the SSI because you're getting 3 hots at a cot. So for the wonderful viewer who was confused on this, and I say this because I think there's many other people out there similarly. Don't confuse SSD and SSI. SSD, one pays for, so whatever portion you have of SSD, whether it's nothing or you've earned something. And some people pay in more premiums to get a higher SSD amount by the time they're either retired or have to collect Social Security early due to disability. It's what you paid in is what you're going to get out. It's like any other insurance in that regard. Okay. SSI, on the other hand, you never have to have paid in. You've never had to have worked a day in your life. You don't have to have done anything to get it besides, the Social Security program deems that you need it to, stay out of the homeless gutter, for instance. Granted, some still decide to, or feel forced to be homeless despite SSI. We see that all over the place. Sometimes it's a choice, sometimes it might be forced, or at least as perceived. And that's a whole nother thing, of course, and it's not part of my pay lane here. But to be clear, the SSA, and I'm going to go over the math real quick in a real simple way. Let's say, because the person was asking, why am I getting my full SSD, but then I'm not getting my full SSI? Remember, there is no my SSI. And the SSI, it could be any range depending on what your need is. So if you start out with, you have zero income, zero, no SSD, nothing. Then in 2023, and we're about to turn into 2024, but in 2023, you would be getting $914 from the SSI program if you are otherwise eligible. Full 914. That would be the max from the SSI program. Now, of course, there could be local benefits that you get for getting SSI, so you got to speak to your local government about that. Every local government is different. So if you now instead you do have SSD, Social Security Disability, because you worked for the minimum amount of time needed to get it, and to the extent that you are getting it. So let's say your SSD is 800. The first $20 of that unearned SSD, because it's when they say unearned, they don't mean that you didn't pay for it in the past and earn it. When you're getting it, you're not actually doing work activity to get it because you're disabled. So it's unearned right now. The first $20, and we can argue about how ridiculous that pittance is. The first $20 of that $800 SSD is not counted. And that's a good thing. It should be higher, in my opinion, and perhaps move up with COLA, but that's a whole nother issue. So $780 is what you got coming in the door. SSI is there to boost you up to the SSI maximum, the federal benefit rate that they say everyone needs to have that in order to muscle through and scrape by, given all the other benefits they're going to be getting as a result from their local governments, right? So if it's 780 and the 914 is the federal max for SSI, 914 minus 780 is $134. So SSI only needs to give you $134. So you get up to the 914 that the people that don't have the SSD get up to. So it boosts you up to their level. If they have, if you're at $600, it would be an extra 200 on top of that to get you up to the 914, at minimum floor. Remember, SSI is welfare. It is needs-based. And therefore, everything you have that provides for your own needs, such as your SSD or any other income, is something that SSI and the taxpayers do not have to foot for you. Capish? Okay, so I hope that explains that there is no, why am I not getting my full SSI? You don't have a full SSI. You actually don't have any SSI. It's not really yours. It is a welfare boost to get you a minimum floor of sustenance. And then, of course, just a reminder, if you're getting SSI, there is an extremely good chance there is potentially a plethora of other benefits you can be getting that helps you keep more of that $914 you have in your pocket, to be used for other needs. Now, remember, you can't ever save a lot of that because of the savings rules, which perhaps will be changed one day too, because there is no COLA applied to those resource rules. And they've been the same as long as I've been here, which is a couple decades now. So I'm hoping that increases so it's a little more representative of, the modern world. But in any event, the SSI is not yours. You don't get your 800 from SSD plus $914 from the taxpayers, the welfare fund called SSI, right? Imagine the guy who's got SSD of 1,000 and here you are getting 1,700 because you're getting your SSD plus your SSI when he actually worked more and paid more in, and now you're getting more. That actually happens anyway, but that would be a really overt way of smacking it in the face, right? Anyway, SSI is there for a very good reason. It helps keep a minimum basic floor, but it's not there as a gross flat amount. It is there up to the 914, so that anything that you have that can get yourself there, so you can be a little self-sustaining is first, and then you get that little balance to bring you up to the 914. Okay. Anyway, I hope that explains it. I know some people don't like some of those words like welfare, but SSI is welfare. Okay. And the less we keep, putting our heads in the sand and using other politically correct words like needs-based, I think the better off everybody's going to be. All right. Let's just be transparent. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. And this is actually before New Year's. By the time you see this, it might very well be after New Year's. But I hope everyone has a wonderful 2024. Hope everyone's health is going to do great in 2024. Um, and one way or another, I hope you keep the faith and keep your chin up as best you can. All right. Thanks all. Bye.